Welcome to Kingdom Things Podcast with me, Ashley-Nicole Phillips. I am the biblically prophesied Messiah. Full circle moment, alert, alert. So are you. Why, Ashley? What I have in me, you have in you. What you have in you, I have in me. We are in the age of unconditional love, where we get to co-create our reality with the understanding and high wisdom and knowledge that we've never been separate from each other, and we've never been separate from all of creation. We've never been separate from what we commonly call God. We've always been a dimensions, as well as a dimension of the oneness of all things, as humanity is a macrocosmic dimension, and then each human is a microcosm of the macrocosm. So as we are unique in our individuality, in our own angelic frequency, we also create a bigger conglomerate energy that is known as the human being of planet Earth. We are in the age of unconditional love, where we are being activated into our genome, our DNA, which is going to allow us to be able to channel or transmit higher wisdom and knowledge. A lot of the times we call this intuition, or speaking to God, our ancestor spirit. We'll be able to channel these higher energies and messages from God, other dimensions of ourselves. Because like I just said, we've never been separate from God. So we are dimensions of God. We are God having a human experience. In the age of unconditional love, we get to consciously co-create our reality, step into avatar level consciousness, all of humanity in mass, graduating, elevating into avatar level consciousness, where we get to consciously create our reality, consciously expand in our individuality, and contribute to God's creation, contribute to humanity, contribute to planet Earth, contribute to our realities, our communities, with this higher wisdom, higher power, higher knowledge of the truth of self, which we will all come online to, activate into simultaneously, gradually, with ease and grace. A lot of the times before, activating into higher wisdom knowledge or aligning into higher wisdom knowledge as a human of planet Earth, you did so through secret societies and spiritual initiation processes that could be strenuous, a long journeying. A lot of the people call it the hero's journey, inside, self-realization, soul attainment. Before, it was a strenuous journey where we really had to work at it. We really had to struggle to align with our souls, because of many beautiful energies that have worked together to help lift humanity out of the darkness or lower vibrational consciousness. All of humanity will begin to simultaneously awaken to higher wisdom, knowledge of self, deeper intimacy, deeper unconditional love of self, in order to ascertain, align with soul gifts, soul knowledge, soul wisdom, avatar level consciousness, with ease and grace. All right, so today, Kingdom Things Podcast. Within Kingdom Things Podcast, I channel energies and messages from my soul, from my soul's wisdom, from the oneness of all things, in order to assist with the evolution of God's creation, assist with the evolution of the human consciousness. As we evolve as humans, we help evolve God's creation, the oneness of all things. Today's installment of Kingdom Things Podcast, the evolution of humanism or the ego. I will say, throughout my podcast, ego, the word ego, the energy of ego, has a lot of different dimensions and aspects to it. And there's a lot of teachings as far as ego and spirituality. Everything's happening at once. And as we live our lives, we're creating our reality, right? So I've channeled many things about the ego in Kingdom Things Podcasts. And all Kingdom Things Podcasts content is timeless. I channel many things. And whenever you find whatever you find, there's an energy or message in there that you're supposed to hear in order to evolve you into whatever your soul, on the soul level, your goddess essence wants you to evolve into. So whatever you experience is a part of your plan, is part of your story, it's a part of your journey called life, called evolution in God's creation. So I've channeled many things, and this is going to be another thing that I'm channeling, and it might seem contradictory. It might seem contradictory, and that's okay. Again, whatever energy you come across, that's the energy that you need. right now in this space of creation, one thing about God's creation, it's not linear, it's not figure outable. You experience your reality, and that's how you grow and evolve within your reality. You drop into your heart space, because a lot of these things, like our brains, are not gonna be able to compute, because we have been living in a reality where duality consciousness, where we tend to use our left hand more than our right, our left lobe more than our right lobe. When we walk, we tend to step with our left foot first, or our right foot first. We tend to use parts of ourselves to perceive and create our reality. The age of unconditional love, we are stepping into wholeness. Not only are we to use more faculties of ourselves to activate into higher DNA efficiency, from our 0.6, 0.7%, 0.9% to higher faculties, or from our 6 to 9% use of our DNA to higher percentage use of our DNA, but we're to use more of our wholeness. Our brains are adjusting. Every dimension of ourselves are adjusting. What part of ourselves always has a greater scope of our journey? Our heart space. Our heart spaces are X points, or energetic portals to all of God's creation. And what do we tend to do? We tend to in the past, we ran from our heart spaces, from ourselves. We disassociated from ourselves. This time, age of unconditional love is dropping into our heart space, and then waiting for higher wisdom understanding of whatever we're needing assistance with, and not trying to think through things, because we're coming into higher faculties of our usage. Centering ourselves in our heart space will allow for an easy and graceful transfiguration of our beingness. So this installment of Kingdom Things podcast, the evolution of humanism, or the ego. So before, our ego was rooted in energies that we perceived as survival consciousness, we got to just brass tacks. We're not perceived, but our egos were predominantly rooted in energies. Our egos were predominantly rooted in egos, or survival consciousness, primordial consciousness, reptilian consciousness, projection consciousness. And these are all things, give me 1 second. I'm going to look up a couple words. 1 second, y'all. These are all things that were ailing to our beingness, or were killing us. That's why we died in the past. We're a part of an infinite, expansive creation where all things are possible, including lengthy lives. Kingdom Things podcast, 2033 prophecy. I got this prophecy from the Most High Creator, God, in 2023. It's a 10-year prophecy. By 2033, the human consciousness, the human being of planet Earth, will be in the streams of energies, a consciousness expansion, to understand that we are human consciousness with no disease. We are human consciousness with no disease. We are human consciousness with no famine. We are human consciousness with no poverty. We are human consciousness with no death. We are human consciousness with no disease. We are human consciousness with no war, vitality, world peace. Death was a configuration of our understandings of reality. We manifested death. Not only in our biblical text, where we have beings such as Christian Bible or Hebrew Bible, Methuselah lived 900 plus years, and other in our ancient texts, lengthy thousands of live incarnations, thousands of years incarnations, tens of thousands of years incarnations. It's not a fable. It's possibilities of heightened consciousness. The 2033 prophecy says that we will be humans of planet Earth, with the soul level choice to incarnate for as long as we want, live our lives for as long as we want, manifest our bodies to operate how we want them to. If you would like to age, if you would like to get gray hair, if you would like to get wrinkles, you can manifest that. If you would like to continue to have firm skin. You can manifest firm skin. If you would like to keep darker hair, you manifest darker hair. You manifest with your mind, your consciousness, how you want to present in this reality, right? So before, our operating systems that we predominantly used, our egos, did not allow for us to understand our power. Why, Ashley? Because we were rooted in low vibrational energies that restricted, contracted our consciousnesses, stifled our consciousnesses, limited what we perceived about ourselves. Survival consciousness, primordial consciousness, reptilian consciousness, primordial consciousness, reptilian consciousness. We have a deep, steep fear in the human consciousness of reptilian beings. I share stories about my encounters with reptilian beings in the spirit in the Kingdom Things podcast entitled Third Heaven. Third Heaven, Reptilians is in the title. So Kingdom Things podcast, Third Heaven. I share my experience with reptilian beings. I'll share it again. I'm being guided to share it again. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth. In my third eye, I saw sitting next to myself. My third eye is super strong. Clairvoyantly, my vision in the spirit is super strong. So clairvoyantly, I perceived a reptilian being standing next to me. And I have the understanding, I've been raised in the spirit by my ancestors, by the other dimensions of myself, by my ancestors, to understand that anything that presents in my reality, it's only a mirror of what I hold inside. Not only is it a mirror of what I hold inside, and not only is it a mirror of what I hold inside, I am projecting these things into my reality. And not only am I projecting these things in my reality, how I perceive everything in my reality is a direct reflection of the way that I think, of the way that I operate. Reptilians are not inherently bad. Reptilians are not inherently evil. We have lower vibrational energies in ourselves. We have evils within ourselves in which we project onto energies and things outside of us. These lower vibrational energies and evils, such as survival consciousness, where survival of the fittest, or we're always fighting or flighting, fighting or fleeing to protect ourselves. Primordial consciousness, or our Neolithic ancestors that lived in nature, where there were animals and other beings that we cohabitated with, that we needed to be careful not to be eaten at a point in time. We're no longer in that phase in our reality. We no longer need that, especially with the heightened consciousness, awareness to understand that everything in our reality we create. Reptilian consciousness, fight or flight mentality, always fighting or running away from ourselves. Any person, place, or thing in our reality, or energy in our reality, is a direct reflection of us, of ourselves. We project everything in our reality into our reality. Everybody. There is no such thing as any dimension of God's creation that does not project everything that it encounters into its reality. So running away from ourselves, or running from anything in our reality, fighting with anything in our reality, we're only fighting with ourselves. Principle of compensation or karma, what goes around comes around. So if you're fighting with things in yourself, you're sending out energies of betrayal. You're betraying yourself. When you fight yourself, you're betraying yourself, right? So you're harming yourself, you're ailing yourself. Projection consciousness, where we project the energies that we are outside of ourselves, and we blame other people and things for everything in our reality, which does not give us the opportunity to grow and evolve from ourselves. When we take accountability for everything in our reality, we can step back, drop into our heart space, and say, okay, self, okay, God, okay, inner self, okay, whoever, however you want to reference it, okay, spirit guides, okay, ancestors, okay, Jesus, okay, Buddha, okay, Krishna. What is this trying to teach me about myself? And then wait for the guidance and higher wisdom understanding. When we take accountability and ask ourselves, what is this trying to teach us about ourselves? We allow ourselves to grow and evolve in new ways, new levels, and become a master of our reality in new ways and new levels. Because creation is what? Infinite. So there's no beginning, no end. You're never without room to grow. You're never without room to evolve. So with that being said, the evolution of humanism, the ego. So our egos we used as our personalities to co-create in this reality. We use as our individualistic nature in this reality, right? As humans. Listen to this, y'all. The ego, those energies of survival consciousness, primordial consciousness, reptilian consciousness, projection consciousness that we use to fortify our egos. Remember, we step back and say, okay, we take accountability for everything in our reality. What is this trying to teach me about myself? We step back, we wait for the higher wisdom, we learn and grow from ourselves. We become intuitively interested in our lives, in ourselves. We become inquisitive about our lives, about ourselves. We step into our childlike wonderment about our lives, about ourselves. And we do what? We turn those energies of survival consciousness, primordial consciousness, reptilian consciousness, projection consciousness, what our egos were fortified before in our humanistic past, into an angelic womb or an angelic container to be our personality or our essence, in which holds all of us, holds our individualistic nature as we traverse this reality. No longer excusing the ego, no longer excusing the nature of the ego by saying, oh, it's my personality, but saying, hold on, this personality is toxic. This personality is alien because there's death in my reality. So what do? We take that energy of the ego, the personality, and we become inquisitive about our lives and about ourselves in order to evolve the ego, our lives, ourselves into a higher vibrational nature or an angelic, high wisdom, high knowledge nature to hold our individualistic nature as we traverse this reality. An angelic womb, if you will, or an angelic container. This process is a transmutation of our earth chakras into higher vibrations, expanding our dimensionality. I channeled within Kingdom Things podcast that titled 144 Part 1, 144 Part 2. The human experience has been expanded to 14 dimensions. And really, it's limitless, because as we evolve to the 14 as a mass consciousness, what's going to happen? It's going to expand further. So the experience as a human being on planet Earth has been expanded in a way that we can evolve limitlessly within our humanality as humans on planet Earth. I really hope you have taken away an energy or a message within this Kingdom Things podcast rendition with me, Ashley-Nicole Phillips. Like the video, subscribe to the channel to help proliferate the Kingdom Things podcast energy within this beautiful age of unconditional love as human beings on planet Earth. I am the biblically prophesied Messiah. Full circle moment alert, alert. So are you. What I have in me, you have in you. What you have in you, I have in me. We are all avatar level consciousness, badass creator beings having this beautiful experience on this beautiful plane of reality called Mother, Father, Gaia. This planet is so beautiful, y'all. I know, y'all know, because y'all live here. I know y'all see the trees, the butterflies, and the flowers and things, and the fresh air. Hopefully you have fresh air where you are. I pray for that for you, because I love some good, crisp ass, fresh air. I'm like an air connoisseur. Like, I smell it when I travel. I experience the air, and it's like I'm a spirit. I'm wine tasting. I'm wafting the air, and just like, I love it, right? Thank you, Father, Mother, Gaia. Our planet is sentient, sending love and well wishes. Thank you, Father, Mother, Gaia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Not only do I channel energies and messages within Kingdom Things podcast here, I do transmissions with oracle cards, energy transmissions to help us heal and uplift through this beautiful transition in the age of unconditional love as humans on planet Earth. Oneness Connection with Ashley. Oneness Connection, energetic upliftment is available here on YouTube if you're interested in those uplifting transmissions and messages. I'm also an intuitive cook. I love cooking, and I intuitively home cook. Magic Meals with Ashley-Nicole Phillips is available here on YouTube. Go over there and subscribe if you enjoy cooking shows, want to, just get into cooking more, Magic Meals with Ashley-Nicole Phillips. I'm also a singer-songwriter, which you may or may not know. It's one of my favorite soul gifts and talents. My music, Ashley-Nicole Music, is available here on YouTube. Subscribe. I have a catalog of all types of genres. Some are explicit, so just heads up. I do curse in some of the songs, so heads up. Ashley-Nicole, for any kids, like if you have any kids in the house, don't just put Ashley-Nicole Music and just on the speakers in the house and just go about your business. Like clean your house or something. Like you got to kind of monitor it if you got little kids around. I'm just saying, because our kids pick up everything. I don't want them turning around and start cursing and things. Like, Ashley said it. No, right? Like even my kids. I have a nephew. I have a nephew, right? And I don't even play curse words around him because my music, like they have curse words around him because he picks up everything. As we know, they pick up everything. So just that's a warning. Heads up for that. I'm also an author. I authored the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel, and it's actually how I was aligned with the understanding of who I was on a soul level. God was like, you don't know who you are, sit down, let me show you. 3-4 years ago, my ancestors were like, write, Ashley, we're gonna help you write. And I authored the unconditional, this is where the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel came from. My ancestors moved through me and we channeled the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel. It's a 3-part book series, which starts off with Asia's story. Asia is a teenage girl growing up in the New York City foster care system. She's catalyzed onto her spiritual awakening journey when she meets her twin flame Chase in the hallway of her school Manhattan Prep. A bunch of things go down, y'all. And that's part 1 and 2 of the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel. Third part, My Other Half. I love all of it, but my other half is like my baby. My other half is 2 souls traveling through many lifetimes. They are going to co-create a love and a life together, but each paradigm of each reality on planet Earth as humans, the consciousness of the humans say that their love can't work. So the energy just keeps them apart and just like, they know they're supposed to co-create a love and a life together. Which love under which lifetime? That is the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel. So by the time you watch this, Asia's story might be available to purchase physical copy. It might not, right? So this is how it's going to go down. There's going to be 2 Unconditional Love Literature Parcel options to purchase from. One of them is going to have the Asia story digital, part 1, part 2 digital, and the third part you can do digital or you can have it mailed to your home, physical copy, my other hat. The second Unconditional Love Literature Parcel by Ashley-Nicole Phillips, all 3 options will be available to ship physical copy. All 3 options will be available to all 3 options will be available to ship to your home physical copy, and all 3 options will be available for digital. Asia start part 1 and part 2 will be 1 book. It'll come in 1 book, and then the third part will be its own book. So it'll be 2 books, same price, $29.97 for both. Same price, but the second one of the Unconditional Love Literature Parcels, you can do all 3 physical copy. Asia's story part 1 and part 2 will be in 1 book. I'm excited about that, y'all. I'm so excited. It's so beautiful, and I'm grateful for reality. I'm glad you found me, King of Things podcast. I hope you find an energy or message that helps you along this journey. When I tell you anything that you might be going through, it is your power. It is your purpose. I've been through so much in my life, so much pain. I just lived as a ball of depression all of my life because I didn't understand my empathic nature. I didn't understand my sensitive nature. I didn't understand that I was picking up all this energy. So I didn't have a good spiritual hygiene where I knew to consciously say, okay, I release this. This is not my burden. So anything that you're going through, when I tell you that's your purpose, that's your power, cry at night on your pillow if you got to. There's nothing wrong with that. I cried last night in the mirror in the bathroom. Ugly cry, not just regular cry, but an ugly cry. And it was healing and uplifting and therapeutic. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to feel how you feel. And pray for peace and mastery so that you don't harm yourself or others. Feel how you feel and let it pass through. And don't act on those feelings, but observe yourself and let it pass through. I love you. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love because you have to love yourself in the way in which you want your reality to love you back. Self-love is the best love because you are love and your truest truth. Give that love to yourself first. Self-love is the best love because the way you love on yourself deepens the bond that you're able to have with other people in your reality, period. Bye, y'all. See you later.
no false friend.
My name is Asya, and I'm a teenage witch. Just kidding. I am a starseed. My story is much like humanity's story. I awakened to some pretty spectacular things about myself. Coming home, the story of Asya, followed by the story of Asya, I'm home. The book series that introduces the book. After returning from a day's trip, I have read my Atum's letter. He speaks of my father releasing him from imprisonment and the fate of death. He pleads for us to run away together. This plea is one of which I make no state to decline. My other half, available in the Amazon bookstore. I feel as though I was born here on Earth to find you. I was created to find my person, the unconditional love literature person, now available in the Amazon bookstore.
Heart always falls.